is Matt Kane. I am the lead engineer at Miralab. Our team lead is named Amanda Tassi. She's a PhD candidate at USC, and she has won a student Oscar, HBO Films Award, and many other awards for her previous work in short films and interactive media. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it here today. She's actually off out of town, and she's actually researching undersea life over the weekend. So she was sad that she couldn't make it, but appropriately to that theme, this guy is called Turritopsis dohrnii, and he is the immortal jellyfish, or gender neutral, is the immortal jellyfish. And our game is Miralab. And in Miralab, you play as Turritopsis dohrnii, and the goal is to kind of ask the question, what does it mean to be immortal? What does it mean to live through multiple life cycles? And that's really the central theme of the game. So in more game terms, it's a single player exploration, third-person camera perspective 3D game, and we're developing it in the Unity game engine. And the target platform is PC and Mac. The themes of the game are all inspired by real science. Now, we're taking a lot of liberties, but what's cool about a deep sea microscopic ecosystem environment is that it's so alien to us anyway that we don't have to take too many liberties for it to be very mystifying and interesting. So a lot of our ideas are coming from kind of a scientific background. So basically, this is an overview of the life cycle of the immortal jellyfish. Essentially what happens, and the reason why it's called immortal, is that at the end of its lifespan, unlike most other animals which die, it actually reverses its entire DNA structure back to its embryonic state and relives again. And in a safe environment, it can actually, in real life, live forever. So that's what we're exploring, and we're actually implementing the entire life cycle with liberties, but the whole life cycle in gameplay in the game. And so a big part of the art is going to be communicating that change, which over the course of the life cycle, the actual sensory organs and the capabilities of the organism change dramatically. Basically, jellyfish don't have eyes, so they can't actually see, but we're representing this by essentially, when you're in the pupal state, the blob form, you actually can't really see anything. And your primary goal at that time is to make it to a evolve phase. And one of the best ways to do that is to use one of your abilities called electrify, which is against liberties, but essentially what you can use it to do is to illuminate certain areas of the environment. And so it's essentially dynamically revealing entire swaths of the environment around you. That's a big part of the gameplay. As you grow up and you go to the very early baby phase, which is when you start to become more of that Hydra figure, you start to reveal more of the environment and it starts to begin to look kind of like this. And we'll go more into the specific environmental art style in a little bit. But the idea is as you get bigger, you gain more mobility, you gain more ability to see the world around you. And this is a big part of kind of the theme that we're trying to describe, which is like essentially how does your perspective change as you become more wise and as you gain more experience and more ability. The themes and art style are kind of coincide in that they're extremely high contrast, both in terms of spatial design and also in terms of visual design. So as you can see here, it's kind of dark, but essentially what we're going for is a lot of dark background that is very deep sea, so that's kind of what we're looking at. With a lot of the light sources and color coming from bioluminescence, with very, very high contrast, drawing a lot of attention to important parts in the game and important figures. And similarly for environmental design and environmental gameplay, high contrast between kind of desolation areas and areas of very high biodiversity and life and activity. So as you play through the game, like I said before, basically what we're looking at is significant changes in scale, light levels, and also behaviors of your player character. You're going to become much more powerful, primarily in terms of your ability to move and interact with other animals in the environment. So as you get larger, you kind of reveal much more complex types of environments with a huge array of characters and life types. What we're trying to really create as much as we can is a sense of kind of, if you watch like videos of like coral reef, this just completely vibrant and bustling hub of activity between multiple different kinds of characters and species of animals, and kind of just watching that system work with a sense of awe, kind of. So kind of to that point, what we're looking for is a very wide variety of animals. And because you're changing scale, we're looking at animals on the microscopic level, such as cone jellies, siphonophores, microscopic gelatinous organisms, all the way up to smaller, maybe even larger fish, corals, and then these kind of the more, the kind of sea life that you're more familiar with. So basically, one of our kind of unique mechanics is the memory mechanic, and it's kind of our attempt to tackle what does it mean to be immortal in a world with a lot of animals that are just kind of going and passing through time. Every time you go through your life cycle, at the beginning of the reversion phase, you black out for some period unknown of maybe somewhere around like 10 years. So this is kind of working liberty again. The idea is every time you regenerate, the world changes, and you can see that change is very dramatic. And what you can do is you can actually use your ability of the memory mechanic to actually remember certain areas of the way that the world was before you passed on to your next life cycle. And this is going to be used strategically, but also we really want it to be thematically approaching what is your legacy, and kind of what does it mean that you have this ability to be immortal, and how can you use that to help things around you or to further your own interests. So the art style is, as Amanda likes to term it, aquatic retrofuturism, which I don't think Schlecht is as much, but the way I term it is kind of if you take Tron and you mix it with kind of Finding Nemo, but a little bit, but much more. She really doesn't like that, but for my engineering mind, it's a little easier to understand it. So basically, what that means is we're looking for very abstract figures. So this is not photorealistic. And combined with the fact that these environments are already very strange to kind of our eyes, we're looking at structures that we're looking for kind of varying levels of comprehension when you're looking at these structures. So as you can see, on the left side would be kind of the scale and the kind of an idea of like what it might look like when you are in the blob phase. And you're much smaller, so these structures are very large, and because of that, it's hard to see what's really going on. As you get larger, your sense of perspective also expands, and you can see that this is actually an entire system, and this is really just a little tiny sample of it.
Matt, wrap up.
Yep. Okay, so basically, a lot of our challenges are in, both in breadth of the number of actors we're going to have in our scenes, but also in really communicating the primary jellyfish character. There's a lot of kind of technical challenges associated with that, but also it's really important to sell the idea that you're underwater. So right now we have 25 people on our team, including several artists from LCAT, and we're really happy to work with you guys. We've made some good progress, and we're looking to expand out our art team more. We actually are open to looking for an art director. Amanda's currently, she's the creative director, and she's also kind of working as art director right now, but we're potentially looking to fill that role, as well as CG generalists and concept artists, particularly environmental concept artists. So yeah, that's our game.